In the vast expanse of the galaxy, where civilizations rise and fall, there exists a species often underestimated by their interstellar neighbors, humans. Their unassuming nature belies a resilience and ingenuity that have, time and again, turned the tide in their favor. This is a tale of such underestimation, a story where the consequences of misjudging humanity unfold in unexpected ways. Within the high-security confines of the Galactic detention facility, a sprawling complex orbiting the gas giant Xel'Naga, an unremarkable human prisoner, designated as Subject 42, resides. The facility houses an array of alien species, each possessing unique and formidable traits. The Xanthians, towering beings with crystalline exoskeletons, communicate through resonant frequencies. The Vrelians, small and agile, are known for their telepathic abilities, and the Gorthax, hulking creatures with multiple limbs, are famed for their brute strength. Amidst these diverse beings, Subject 42's presence is scarcely noted, a mere blip in the grand tapestry of galactic incarceration. Yet, this very underestimation sets the stage for a series of events that will challenge the perceptions of all. Within the facility, the narrative that unfolds explores themes of resilience, adaptability, and the indomitable human spirit. It prompts reflection on our perceptions of strength and survival, especially when faced with adversity in unfamiliar terrains. For in the heart of this galactic prison, the seeds of an unexpected revolution are sown, all because one species dared to underestimate another. Subject 42 sat alone in his cell, a small, dimly lit room within the Galactic detention facility. His unremarkable appearance, a lean build, short-cropped hair, and nondescript features, belied the storm of thoughts racing through his mind. Captured during a border skirmish, he had been deemed expendable by his captors, a sentiment that had led to his current predicament. The facility was a microcosm of the galaxy's diversity, housing species that spanned the spectrum of form and function. The Xanthians, towering beings with translucent skin that shimmered under the facility's lights, the Vrelians, whose elongated limbs and multifaceted eyes gave them an almost ethereal appearance, and the Gorthax, squat and muscular, their rocky exteriors a testament to their planet's harsh conditions. Each species brought with it a unique culture and set of expectations, and humans, Subject 42 in particular, were often viewed through a lens of condescension. The initial days were marked by subtle jabs and overt displays of superiority. The Xanthians would vibrate their crystalline structures, producing harmonic frequencies that resonated through the walls, a constant reminder of their dominance. The Vrelians engaged in mental games, projecting fleeting images and emotions into the minds of nearby prisoners, testing the limits of their telepathic prowess. The Gorthax, with their guttural speech and heavy steps, would often block corridors, forcing others to navigate around them, their actions a silent assertion of territorial claim. Subject 42's responses were measured, his demeanor calm and composed. He refrained from engaging in the provocations, his silence perhaps misinterpreted as submission. The aliens observed, noted, and adjusted their behaviors, each believing their actions reinforced their perceived superiority over the human. One particular incident stood out, a gathering in the communal area where a group of Vrelians attempted to involve Subject 42 in a telepathic duel. They projected images of his home planet, Earth, distorting them with grotesque alterations, seeking to provoke an emotional response. Subject 42 remained unmoved, his thoughts shielded, his expression unreadable. Frustration rippled through the Vrelians, their images becoming more erratic, but the human remained an island of tranquility amidst the mental chaos. Days turned into weeks, and the pattern continued. The aliens' tactics varied, But Subject 42's responses remained consistent. His avoidance of direct confrontation seemed to embolden some, while others began to question the efficacy of their methods. The Gorthax, in a rare display of curiosity, approached him one evening, their deep voice rumbling through the air. "Human," the Gorthax began, their eyes narrowing, "why do you not fight? Do you not possess the strength?" Subject 42 met their gaze, his voice steady. "Strength is not always displayed through physical means." The Gorthax grunted, a sound that could have been laughter, and departed, leaving Subject 42 to his thoughts. The turning point came unexpectedly. A routine inspection escalated when a Vrelian officer, perhaps seeking to assert authority, accused Subject 42 of concealing contraband. The human cell was searched thoroughly. Nothing amiss found. Humiliated, the officer's mental projections became erratic, broadcasting their anger indiscriminately. Subject 42 stood silently, his presence a calm in the storm. This incident sparked a series of events. Whispers spread through the facility. The human was different, unaffected by their usual tactics. Some viewed him with renewed respect, while others saw him as a threat to their established order. The undercurrent of tension grew palpable. Each interaction with Subject 42, a calculated move in an unspoken game. The climax of this section unfolded in the mess hall. A group of Xanthians, perhaps emboldened by their numbers, confronted Subject 42. Their leader, a towering figure named Krell, loomed over the human, his voice a low growl. "Human," Krell intoned, "you have disrupted the harmony of our ranks. It is time you learn your place." Without warning, Krell swung a massive fist toward Subject 42. The human sidestepped effortlessly, his movements fluid. Krell's momentum carried him forward and he stumbled. The surrounding aliens fell silent, eyes fixed on the unfolding scene. Subject 42's voice cut through the tension, calm and unwavering. Underestimating others often leads to one's own downfall. The mess hall erupted in murmurs. The aliens, once certain of their superiority, now faced the reality of their miscalculations. Subject 42, the quiet human, had become an enigma, challenging their perceptions and forcing them to confront their biases. As the whispers subsided and normalcy returned, a subtle shift occurred within the facility the days following the incident. In the mess hall saw a palpable shift in the atmosphere of the Galactic detention facility. Whispers of Subject 42's unexpected display of agility and composure in the face of aggression rippled through the inmate population, sowing seeds of doubt among those who had previously viewed him as an easy target. The initial underestimation of the human had given way to a burgeoning respect, tempered with a renewed sense of caution. Emboldened by their past successes, the alien factions, Xanthians, Vrelians, and Gorthax, convened in hushed meetings, plotting their next moves. Their collective aim was singular: to reassert their dominance over Subject 42 and quash any notions of human superiority before they could gain traction. The previous tactics of mental projections, physical intimidation, and territorial displays were deemed insufficient. A more coordinated approach was deemed necessary. One evening, as the twin moons of Xel'Naga bathed the facility in a pale, ethereal light, the coordinated attack commenced. A group of Xanthians initiated a harmonic resonance, aiming to disorient and immobilize the human. Simultaneously, Vrelians infiltrated his vicinity, projecting dissonant images and inducing auditory hallucinations. The Gorthax, leveraging their physical prowess, positioned themselves to flank him, intending to corner and subdue. Subject 42, however, was prepared. Drawing upon latent combat training and an acute strategic intellect, honed through years of military engagement, he anticipated the multifaceted assault. With precise movements, he activated a personal energy shield, deflecting the harmonic frequencies. Utilizing handheld disruptors, he neutralized the Vrelians' mental projections, rendering their telepathic attacks ineffective. Employing guerrilla tactics, he outmaneuvered the Gorthaks, exploiting their predictable movements and limited agility. The result was a swift and decisive reversal. The aggressors, now disarmed and disoriented, found themselves at the mercy of the very human they had sought to dominate. Their coordinated assault had unraveled, leaving them vulnerable and exposed. Subject 42's counteroffensive not only thwarted the attack, but also sent a clear message. Underestimating him was a grave miscalculation. In the aftermath, as the facility's security forces intervened to restore order, a new figure emerged on the scene: Warden Threx, a seasoned Xanthian officer known for his ruthlessness and unyielding sense of superiority. Threx was appointed to oversee the prison's operations. His reputation preceded him, instilling a mix of fear and respect among the inmates and staff alike. Warden Threx's arrival marked a new era for the facility. His leadership style was characterized by strict discipline, strategic oversight, and an unrelenting pursuit of control. He implemented rigorous training programs for the guards, emphasizing efficiency and unwavering loyalty. Under his command, the prison's operations became more streamlined, and the influence of the various alien factions began to wane. Subject 42, now a figure of intrigue and respect, found himself at a crossroads. The events of the past weeks had unveiled his capabilities, earning him both allies and adversaries. The question that loomed was whether to leverage this newfound influence to incite a rebellion, challenging the existing power structures within the prison, or to seek a path of personal redemption, focusing on rehabilitation and self-discovery. The decision weighed heavily on him. The allure of leading a rebellion, of overthrowing oppressive regimes and establishing a new order, was tempting. Yet, the potential for violence, the risk of failure, and the moral implications gave him pause. Conversely, the path of redemption offered peace, but seemed fraught with its own set of challenges, including the possibility of being perceived as weak or complacent. As he pondered his options, interactions with fellow inmates provided insight and perspective. Discussions with the Vrelian elder, who had once shared tales of their people's history and culture, offered a broader understanding of the complexities of leadership and rebellion. Conversations with the Gorthaks, who spoke of honor and tradition, highlighted the importance of integrity and respect. These dialogues enriched his perspective, aiding him in weighing the potential outcomes of each path. The internal conflict raged within him, each option presenting its own set of challenges and rewards. The path of rebellion promised change, but at the cost of uncertainty and potential loss. The path of redemption offered stability, but risked being overshadowed by the very forces he sought to escape. As the days passed, the weight of the decision grew heavier. The prison's environment, charged with tension and the undercurrents of unspoken alliances, mirrored his internal struggle. Each interaction, each glance, seemed to carry unspoken messages, adding layers to his contemplation. In the solitude of his cell, Subject 42 meditated on his experiences, his desires, and his fears. The journey from a prisoner of war to a detainee in a galactic facility had been transformative. The lessons learned, the relationships forged, and the battles fought had reshaped him. Now, standing at the precipice of a new chapter, he sought clarity, purpose, and a path that aligned with his evolving sense of self. The decision loomed, and with it, the potential to reshape not only his destiny, but also the fabric of the prison society. The path chosen would have ramifications beyond the prison walls, influencing perceptions, relationships, and the balance of power within the galactic community. The oppressive atmosphere of the galactic detention facility had long been a breeding ground for dissent. In the shadow of Warden Threx's unyielding rule, whispers of rebellion began to circulate among the inmates. Subject 42, once underestimated, had transformed into a symbol of resistance, uniting the diverse alien factions. Under a common cause, the overthrow of the tyrannical warden. Recognizing the necessity of unity, Subject 42 initiated covert meetings with representatives from each alien faction. The Xanthians, known for their strength, the Vrelians, masters of illusion, and the Gorthaks, with their unparalleled resilience, all brought unique strengths to the table. Through clandestine communications and subtle gestures, alliances were forged, each faction agreeing to set aside historical grievances for the greater good. The newly formed coalition embarked on a series of clandestine missions aimed at destabilizing the prison's infrastructure. Strategically timed power outages, subtle manipulations of the surveillance systems, and the dissemination of disinformation created an environment of uncertainty and mistrust among the guards. These operations not only weakened the warden's control, but also emboldened the inmates, fostering a sense of solidarity and shared purpose. Amidst the growing unrest, a trusted ally within the rebellion, a Gorthax named Thalcor, succumbed to fear and greed. Under the promise of clemency and wealth, Thalcor betrayed the insurgents, providing the warden with critical intelligence. This treachery led to the catastrophic failure of a major operation, resulting in the capture of several key members, including Thalcor himself. The betrayal sent shockwaves through the prison, sowing seeds of doubt and fear among the inmates. Seizing the opportunity, Warden Threx enacted draconian measures to quash the rebellion. Public executions of the captured insurgents served as a grim warning to others, their lifeless bodies displayed as a testament to the warden's ruthlessness. Those not executed faced prolonged solitary confinement, enduring psychological torment designed to break their spirits. The warden's actions instilled a pervasive fear, dampening the fervor of the rebellion and forcing many to reconsider their stance. In the midst of heightened tensions, Subject 42 was betrayed by a trusted ally, leading to his capture. Dragged before Warden Threx, he stood defiant, his gaze unwavering. The warden's cold, calculating eyes met his, a silent acknowledgement of the impending confrontation. The air was thick with anticipation, the fate of the rebellion hanging in the balance. Subject 42's mind raced, formulating plans and contingencies, knowing that this encounter could be the turning point in their struggle for freedom. In the cold, dimly lit confines of solitary confinement, Subject 42 sat cross-legged on the hard floor, his back against the unyielding stone wall. The cacophony of the prison's usual sounds, the clanging of metal doors, the murmurs of distant conversations, was replaced by an oppressive silence that enveloped him. This solitude, though punishing, offered him a rare opportunity for introspection. As he closed his eyes, memories flooded his mind. The initial days of his capture, the underestimation by his fellow inmates, the gradual emergence of his leadership, and the subsequent betrayal that had led to his current predicament. Each memory was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a spirit that refused to be broken, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Days melded into nights, and just as the weight of isolation began to bear down on him, the heavy footsteps of the guards approached his cell. However, instead of the usual meal tray or reprimand, an unexpected figure appeared. A Vrelian elder, her scales shimmering with an ethereal glow, her ruby-red eyes reflecting a depth of wisdom and sorrow. The Vrelian, known as Seraphis, had long been a figure of mystery within the prison. Her kind were known for their telepathic abilities and deep connection to the cosmic energies of the universe. Her presence was both calming and unsettling, a paradox that intrigued Subject 42. Without a word, Seraphis extended her hand, and a Surge of warmth enveloped Subject 42. Visions flashed before his eyes, a prophecy etched into the ancient stones of her homeland, speaking of a human who would rise amidst chaos to lead a rebellion that would reshape the galactic order. The prophecy was clear: from the ashes of betrayal shall rise the harbinger of change. Seraphis's voice, a melodic blend of thoughts and words, resonated in his mind. You, human, are the one foretold. Your spirit, unyielding and pure, has ignited, a spark that cannot be extinguished. Empowered by this revelation, Subject 42's resolve solidified. He began to meditate, harnessing the mental disciplines taught by Seraphis, connecting with the latent energies within and around him. He envisioned a plan, not just for escape, but for liberation. He would rally the inmates, unite them under a banner of freedom, and challenge the oppressive regime that had held them captive for so long. As the days passed, subtle changes occurred within the prison. Inmates who had once been indifferent began to exhibit signs of hope and camaraderie. Whispers of the prophecy circulated, fueling a collective yearning for change. But with this newfound unity came increased vigilance from the guards, and the ever-present threat of betrayal loomed large. The stage was set for a confrontation that would not only determine the fate of the prisoners, but also unveil the true potential of the human spirit, a force capable of inspiring galaxies and defying the darkest of oppressions. The prison's corridors, once echoing with the sounds of despair, now hummed with a palpable tension. Subject 42, having absorbed the ancient wisdom imparted by Seraphis, meticulously orchestrated a daring escape plan. His cell, once a symbol of confinement, became the nucleus of a burgeoning rebellion. Under the cloak of darkness, a motley assembly of inmates, each bearing unique skills and backgrounds, convened in hushed secrecy. Their faces, illuminated by the dim glow of makeshift torches, reflected a mosaic of species united by a singular purpose: liberation. Strategically, Subject 42 had identified the prison's vulnerabilities. The central security nexus, a labyrinthine network of controls and surveillance, was the linchpin of their confinement. Disrupting it would plunge the facility into chaos, granting them the window they desperately needed. Leading his cohort through the serpentine passages, Subject 42's heart raced, not with fear, but with an unwavering resolve. They encountered minimal resistance, a testament to the meticulousness of their preparation. As they reached the threshold of the security nexus, the weight of their mission bore down upon them. A single misstep could spell their undoing. With a deftness honed by years of tactical training, Subject 42 infiltrated the control hub. His fingers danced over alien interfaces, rerouting power and disabling surveillance systems. The prison's omnipresent alarms fell silent, replaced by an eerie stillness that resonated with the rebels' collective breath. Showdown with Warden Threx. The tranquility was short-lived. Warden Threx, alerted to the anomaly, descended upon the scene with a cadre of elite guards. His imposing Xanthian form exuded authority, his eyes burning with a fury that could incinerate. "You dare defy the order of this sanctum." Threx's voice, a guttural blend of anger and disbelief, reverberated through the chamber. Subject 42 stepped forward, his demeanor unyielding. "Freedom is a right, not a privilege bestowed by tyrants." A tense silence enveloped them, each awaiting the other's move. Then, with a primal roar, Threx lunged, his massive form a blur of aggression. What ensued was a battle that transcended mere physicality. Threx's raw strength clashed against Subject 42's agility and strategic prowess. Every strike, every maneuver was a testament to their respective species' defining traits. Subject 42's mind raced, analyzing, predicting, countering. He exploited Threx's overconfidence, leading him into a series of calculated traps. The environment became their ally, with Subject 42 leveraging the terrain to offset Threx's superior strength. In a climactic culmination, Subject 42 feigned a misstep, drawing Threx into a vulnerable position. With precision, he incapacitated the Warden, leaving him sprawled and gasping for reprieve. The fall of Warden Threx sent ripples through the prison's hierarchy. His enforcers, bereft of leadership, faltered. The inmates, emboldened by the tangible taste of freedom, rose in unison, dismantling the remnants of the oppressive regime. Subject 42, standing amidst the upheaval, addressed the assembly. Today, we reclaim our dignity. But remember, true freedom is not merely the absence of chains, it's the presence of justice and equality. The prison's architecture, once a symbol of oppression, transformed under their collective hands. Cells were dismantled, communal spaces established, and governance reimagined. Species that once eyed each other with suspicion now collaborated, forging a new societal paradigm rooted in mutual respect. Lingering questions, yet beneath the surface of this newfound harmony, undercurrents of tension persisted. Old prejudices, though suppressed, simmered. The amalgamation of diverse species, while enriching, presented challenges in cultural integration and resource distribution. Subject 42 pondered the road ahead. We've toppled a tyrant, but the true test lies in building a society that honors every voice. In the solitude of his quarters, Subject 42 reflected on the odyssey that had brought them here. The faces of fallen comrades, the sacrifices, the betrayals, all etched into his memory. He mused, "We are but fragments of a shattered whole, seeking to reconstruct something beautiful." As he gazed out into the cosmos, the stars seemed to whisper tales of resilience and hope. The human spirit, he concluded, is not defined by the trials it endures, but by the strength to rise each time it falls. With renewed determination, he turned to face the challenges ahead, ready to shepherd this fledgling society toward a horizon bathed in the light of unity and understanding.